the second State of the Nation address of the President is coming up. I know we've talked before and you said that the President is well informed about the agriculture issues, but still, what would you like to hear from his second son? Is there anything in particular that the agriculture sector needs? Maybe not just from the President, but also from Congress.
We have forwarded all the recommendations from our chamber to the President, and we are hopeful that these recommendations and issues will be addressed by the President and be mentioned in the SONA.
Okay.
In the first SONA, he already mentioned the Philippine Guarantee Corporation.
Okay, all right.
The Land Bank of the Philippines.
Yes.
But still it's there.
Yeah.
There's got to be an overhaul of how the system works in terms to make sure that access to credit be given to the farmer. Because without capital, no matter how much you want the farmer to expand and produce, if he has no money for the inputs, there will be a problem.
Yeah.
They are dependent on traders, especially if talking about onion. 75% of the onion growers are dependent on traders. Now, I've read that the DTI is coming up with a system that can help, but the government is not a lender. If you go through a system, the financial system, going to the farmer, that's where the problem will come up. Because the subject or the borrower, the target borrower, has no competency to come up with documentations, lengthy documentations and compliance to ensure the stability of the financial market. There's got to be a system that can accelerate and make it easier for the farmers to access credit. Because if they have credit, these farmers are good. If we want to go, and then we are now doing the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, there is this money. We would like also all the commodities that is importing, that is importing, has to be channeled through that particular commodity. If you import chicken,
should help the poultry farmers.
The poultry farmers, and support not only on the chicken but the backward linkages like corn and feed milling and everything, which is where the necessity to grow up a chicken. And also all the other commodities that we import. No, we're importing a lot of other commodities. We are not sufficient. We have rice, corn, mungo, potato, coffee, garlic, onions. If we get tariff from them, it has to flow back to that particular commodity. Just like what they do in rice. If that is done, then they are assured of more or less some support. In terms of value chain, warehousing, processing, and so on.
You mentioned that value chain is very important. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were talking about onions at one time, where there is a surplus in one part of the country, so that leads the farmers to destroy the crop, and there's a shortage in the other part of the country where they need the same commodity. And what's the problem there? What can be done to get? Is it infrastructure? Is it simply policy? Is it information? What can we do?
That's not onions. That's not a common. What we're talking here of tomato. Sometimes tomato, you throw it up in Nueva Vizcaya, in Benguet, while our friends in Zamboanga, our canning factory are importing tomato, where the other one is throwing up tomato. Yesterday, people in Saragossa, Nueva Ecija is throwing away the calabasa. If we can process it and have it ready for pumpkin soup or something, in tomato, you can produce ketchup or tomato paste or something. I think what is needed in Zamboanga for canning factories is the variety of the tomato you're planting. So there's got to be a market-driven process, what you plant. If you plant, you make sure that there is a demand for what you plant. And that can be done through proper dissemination of information. We do not have a data network information system. It's just being set up now, a real-time information, so that farmers can plan what to do. And they can prepare. But if they do not have information, For example, you plant onions, and at the end of the day, there's no trader to buy it from you because there is no cold storage facilities available anymore. It's full, it's filled up because the cold storage facilities might be lacking. No? We don't have the necessary cold storage facility to put them all in. So if you expand to be sufficient in terms of onion, we are now doing, last year we have done a 340,000 metric tons. It's a good one. It's the highest so far. But the thing is, when you harvest this, you need to put it somewhere. The cold storage
you can't
facility.
Consume it all at once.
But the cold storage facility sometimes is filled with chicken or meat. And there's a lack of the post-harvest facilities always. That's why the mini agro-industrial facilities should be present in every barangay, and just to protect and be able to support the farmers when there's a bumper harvest. Make sure that it can be processed. And then you need the packaging, the labeling. That is where I think the youth can come in. You've been talking earlier about the youth. You have digital technology to match
the tech savvy.
The tech savvy youth to match the production to the market. And also the processing, labeling, graphics, packaging. They're very innovative on that. I think they would like that. And there's a lot of business in processing and in the value adding. And then distribution and marketing, and that is where the youth can come in. If they do not like to till the land, but there are also some techniques, because it's part of the strategy of a farmer on what to do with his crops, no? And also, if you have aquaculture, you have fruits, vegetables. These are all with strategy, and that if they know what to do, the thing number one is where will they sell it? How much capital is needed to do that? What if the climate change, if rain comes in or the drought comes in? So that's things that not in control. But if you have forward information, just like what we're having now, we know that at the last quarter we will have less water. Now we have plenty of water. We need to conserve it, but because the last quarter is when we plant our high-value crops. Our onions and all other vegetables are planted in the last quarter. If we do not have the water, how can you grow crops when you do not have water?
We were talking earlier, and besides the intervention of young Filipinos and the techies, we were talking about the role of the cooperatives. I mean, so but you were mentioning that also needs needs help, because they're mostly made of farmers, and they should be the one thinking about planning, strategy, marketing, not to mention all the financing, the OPEX, right? And what kind of help do they need, these cooperatives? How do we make them stronger so that they are more helpful to farmers in all of these issues?
I'm proposing that we put up a Bureau of Agricultural Cooperative inside the DA. Because the CDA has a separate quantum task of, there is tricycle cooperative, there is teachers cooperative, there's employees cooperative. Now for the agriculture sector,
there are specific,
because it is just not a matter of putting people together as a group. You need to teach them on or train them on governance, entrepreneurship, on business, and financial literacy.
We were talking earlier. You're a very active member of the Rotary. And we, past Mr. Governor, your classmate was my member at the Makati. But you're saying that as an analogy, Rotary has these trainings. Could you talk about that and how that may be the solution for preparing the cooperatives?
The problem before was that you let the farmers go to the training center. Before it's difficult. From the Farplang barangay, you go to the urban center. In Central Luzon, you go to the Region 3. They cannot even pay for the tricycle going to the town.
Much less
going to Pampanga. Now, we need to reach out to them. And during the time of, as I said, the former president, the old Marcos, We have an agricultural technician for every 10 barangays.
Okay.
That helps them prepare the farm plan and budget, and train them. There's a CELDA. There's a CELDA of 5 farmers together.
Okay.
The only thing that is, I think, the failure of that Masagan 99 is that it made a lot of rural bank bankrupt.
Yes.
Because there's no guarantee system.
Yes.
When the rural bank lent to the farmers and rediscounted to the central bank, they were not able to collect.
Yeah.
So they're now obligated to the central bank. That's made them bankrupt. But if we have the guarantee system protecting them, then we can help the farmers. That's what the trouble is. Not only putting them together as a cooperative, you have to walk them through.
They need the capacity, capability.
You have to capacitate them as an organization. And not because they just want a free machine. They put themselves together so that they can have free machine from the PhilMec, no?
Right.
Or free seedlings or hybrid seeds from PhilRice.
Right.
You need to put them together, bring them to the end, and make sure that they are their income is increasing. Because we need consolidation. Because without consolidated land, we don't have economies of scale. You know about 80% of our land has 3 hectares and below.
Okay.
And 60% of that 80% is 1 hectare.
Oh, wow.
Because of the transfer to the offspring, pass it on to the next generation. They parcel the land. That's right.
Yeah.
The difference with other countries like Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam is that they were supported. When we have given them the land during the agrarian reform, practically we abandoned them. There was no proper support or resources given to them.
They end up selling the land.
But in other countries, they are showered with resources to help them. But in our country, we let them alone. So now the president has to remove the what's it called this that you do not have to pay the interest anymore. You are already forgive everything. We do not have to do that if we have supported them in the first place. Now that the agrarian reform has a split program, they split the land while the Department of Agriculture is consolidating the land. So what the right hand is doing is different from what the left hand is doing. We need to work in together. Perhaps they're splitting it, but they have to keep them together as a group or a cluster to make sure that we have economies of scale. If not, if you title them a small parcel and they cannot make money, they just sell the land.
Yeah, that's too bad. So we'll be right back. We need to take another quick break. This is Business Politics. We're talking to Mr. Danilo Fausto of the Philippine Chamber of Agriculture.